Hello, everybody. My name is Ian Kirkpatrick. I'm an author, idiot, and loin streamer. And today is, well, it's the first day of 2026. Welcome. Happy New Year's. And I hope you all saw 2025 off however you deemed fit. And I'm looking forward to 2026 and hope that it is great or as great as it can be for the most of us. If you have anything that you are looking forward to in the new year and you want to share it, please do so in the comments because I would love to hear what you're looking forward to or what you're hoping for, and we can just like hype each other up, be there for each other mentally, whatever. I want that. And I got a pretty big deal coming out this year. It's it features these three over here and a couple other people, but we'll get into that in just a little bit. So today is the first video of the month, which also means it's LMIAY. Now, other than it being LMIAY, I also used this segment as usually it was the cringe stream, but instead of doing cringe stream where then I would ask, for multiple submissions or just skip it all together, skip January altogether for LMIAY, I just made LMIAY in January the cringe stream, which will be voted on in the loinies. So, prepare yourself because we got this, and then the loinies questionnaire is going to go out very, very soon after I finish putting it together. So, with that said, before we get started, number one, if you enjoy what I do here, you want to see more, if you want to kind of dictate what I do, like, share, subscribe, comment. There are sections in the link tree where you can tell me things that you want to see on the channel, like whether it's a book or it's a topic or whatever. The second thing is different ways to be featured here. Number one is if you are an indie author and you have a book out or a book that is coming out, if you submit to the Fresh Meat feature, your first chapter will be read here on the channel, sans commentary, because it's just about getting your work out there to readers who might, feel a vibe with it and wants to get more. It's just that sample, like when you're walking around Costco and they're like, here, would you like to try this thing? And then you end up with 5 boxes on your way out. That's hopefully what the feature does, but for your book. The second way to be featured is through LMIAY, which we're doing here, where I give a prompt, you write a short story using that prompt, and then we just bask in your creativity, your playfulness in the first video of the month. And there is also another way, which is Crit This, where if you're looking for feedback on unpublished work, or if you still want feedback on a published work, that's fine too. But it's especially usually more helpful for unpublished works since people are more likely to incorporate feedback on unpublished works. But if you would like feedback on your work, then follow the Crit This link and submit there, and I will read your chapter and give feedback to the best of my abilities that may be helpful, may not be helpful. That is the way that art works, and not every feedback is going to be helpful, but I'm going to do my best to tell you what I see, and hopefully it'll inspire you to where you're trying to get, or, yeah. I don't know everything. I don't claim to know everything, but I will try to help to the best of my abilities. The third thing is if you would like to check out any of my books, they're available at any of your favorite places to get books, and my newest novel, The Westies, American Princess. It's technically called The Legend of Bill Cassidy, Book 1, which is then American Princess. I've just been calling it Westies for short, so excuse me if I say that. But it should be coming out in the summer, so the arc should be going out in just a couple of months, hopefully, and I'm so excited to share it. Every time I read it to edit, I just fall in love with it again. So I'm so excited. Currently, it is being trimmed of some some overwriting for sure to smooth some things over. Anyways, with that said, let's talk about what we're here for today, which is cringe. We have a short episode today. Not too many people submitted for cringe, but we will cringe nonetheless. Now, also on Wednesday/yesterday, when I do the community questions regarding the Thursday video, I asked you to share cringe and said that I would share some of mine. So I'll give you 2 things that are cringe. I think one is cringe is embarrassing, like heavy embarrassing. But so the first one was in undergraduate school. I went in for theater because I'd initially been doing music ever since I was a kid. I was in Barnacore, which was a Swedish children's choir. Don't ask me why that was in Washington State, but it was. And then I was taking private voice lessons for a while. So then when I went to college, I'd been voice training. I wanted to be a singer professionally, but they were like, we only teach operatic singing, and the way that you have been taught is not going to work here. And as a teenager and also kind of somebody that doesn't like being told what to do, I was like, screw that. And so I said I didn't want to learn the operatic singing, which would actually have been helpful at this point, but whatever, that was the decision that 17-year-old me made. And so instead, I went to theater in order to stay on the stage. I also wanted to work on the difficulty I had with just like being in front of people or talking to people. I had major body image issues at the time, which theater is probably not the best for that either, but it did help me learn how to present and do that. Anyway, so I went into theater, but the music background matters because obviously everybody in theater was there for a passion in theater, and so they knew like actors and movies and stage plays, and I did not. And so when I was in acting one, which is in like the first semester, technically my second semester, because my first semester I didn't have a GED yet, so I couldn't take a full load. But when I was in acting one, our midterm was doing a monologue, and unfamiliar with stage plays in general, I didn't pick a monologue from a stage play. I picked a monologue from a role play that I was in at the time. So yeah, I acted out a role play monologue that I wrote when I was like 17. I'm not going to share any of that cringe of what that monologue was, but you can just imagine a teenager's writing. Oh my gosh. And I did that in a class of like 20 people. So there's video of that somewhere in an archive because all of the performances were recorded for school, but I don't have that recording and it'll never see the light of day, so thank goodness for that. The second cringe that I'm gonna share is actually just from a couple years ago when my sister got married. Uh, she had a very small, modest wedding, and I was her not just bridesmaid, her maid of honor, whatever, because it was just me. And, the wedding party was like maybe 20, 30 people. It was just immediate family of his and hers. And so I was carrying the ring for yeah, I was carrying the ring to be given, I'm pretty sure, to her husband from her. Yeah. And I put it on my finger to make sure that I wouldn't lose it because she gave it to me while, way, way pre-wedding. And I didn't have pockets because I was wearing a dress. And so I was like, what's the safest thing? Oh, I'll put it on my finger where my other ring is because I'm used to checking that. I'm used to wearing that. And so obviously he had much bigger hands than I have, so the ring was large, but I was like, I'm checking constantly. And the ring was there the entire time. And then she walks down the aisle, the whole thing starts, and then they're doing their vows and everything. And I am preparing to give her the ring. And I realize the ring is gone. And so, I'm like, oh no, because we're in front of everybody. And so I'm like, where could it be? Where could it be? And so I'm like, while they're doing this, and my mom gets up to go and look for it, she can't find the ring. So, as they finish their vows and my sister turns to me for the ring, I just give her my ring so that they can go through the motions, even if it doesn't fit on his finger. I'm just panicking because I'm like, oh man, I lost the ring. I ruined this so much. Oh my gosh, where is it? And so then they leave at the end of the everything, and the ring is on the ground underneath where my sister's train was because it had fallen off my finger when I straightened her dress for the pictures. So at least it was super easy to find, and we went through all of that. It was just so embarrassing. And yes, I should have put the ring underneath my other ring so this one could have acted as a stopper. I was dumb. I think about that sometimes though. I'm glad that it ended well and we were able to just go through it, but I'm like, I really don't need more reasons for my brother-in-law to hate me because it's bad enough. Anyways, so those are my cringes that I'm sharing with you guys. If you want to share some cringe in the comments below because you didn't share some before, feel free to. Now, with that said, we're going to get into the 2 stories. Yes, we've only got 2. However, get your cringe face ready because that's what we're all here for. And don't worry, you're still going to get the cringe stream award is still a thing even when there are only 2. If there's only 1, I can't justify it because there's no competition if there is 1. So if you want your chance at winning the meat stick, which I don't have a version of myself, the loin statue, if you will, you gotta think of your cringe, work on your cringe. You don't even have to, you can submit old cringe. It can be stuff that you wrote in friggin' middle school. As long as there is cringe, please. Anyways, with that said, let's get into this. And as usual, no names will be used when talking about these because it's got to be anonymous voting. So with that said, let's get into these. The first story is Grimdrepiest version, or well, now I definitely know which version I'm not using. Bram began to whimper as Gabriel tightened the makeshift harness around Lute. Shh, shh, she soothed, bouncing the toddler. It's all right, Finalen. We're going to be out of here soon. She hoped at least. Lute looked back at the barricaded door, her heart pounding. Did they have enough time? Images of Bram choking on his own blood ran through her mind. Then images of Gabriel, mutilated, only killed when he begged for death. Skull wouldn't kill her. He would just make her wish that he did. She felt Gabriel's assuring arms around her, whispering in her ear. We're going to get out of here. On 3. 1, 2. Before he could get to 3, the door burst open and Skull burst in, violet eyes filled with rage. Practically leaping across the room, he grabbed them both, his fingers digging painfully, digging into Lute's arms and forcing her grip off of her son as her entire family was pulled back into the bedchamber. Were it not for the harness, Bram would have fallen to his death. Bram's cries filled her ears as she felt a dull throbbing pain in her sides, watching in horror as Skull dragged a struggling Gabriel by his hair across the room from her. He dropped Gabriel to the ground, harshly kicking his side, eliciting groans of pain from the human. No! Lute screamed over her toddler's wailing and her husband's groaning. Please stop! Whether Skull simply didn't hear her or was ignoring her pleas, she couldn't know. Either way, he proceeded to kick Gabriel a few more times before finally kicking him in the face, the sickening sound of crunching cartilage filling the chamber. Gabe! Lute cried as the harness came undone. She scooped Bram up, trying to get to her feet. Guards! Skull shouted. 3 beta men, decked out in woven armor, rushed into the chamber. As if anticipating their lord's needs before he even voiced them, they roughly grabbed Gabriel from the floor, pinning his arms behind his back. He gritted his teeth, clearly in pain, but not wanting to give them the satisfaction. Take this human scum to the dungeon and tell the G-Master to prepare the pit, Skull ordered through gritted teeth. He's to be executed at dawn. Pulling a dagger from his sheath at his side, he whirled around, marching towards Lute and Bram. Now, to do what I should have done days ago. Realizing what he was about to do, Lute covered Bram with her own body as Skull raised the dagger. Skull, please, Lute begged, tears beginning to stream down her face. Have mercy. Spare their lives, and I'll do whatever you want. You can have me. I'm yours. Just let Gabriel take our son and go. She felt sick to her stomach at what she was agreeing to. But what other option did she have? No one was coming to save them. Lute, no! Gabriel shouted, struggling against the guards. Trying to ignore her husband's pleas, she stared at their captor. If you let them go, I'll stop fighting. I won't run. I'm your toy to use as you please, as long as you just let them live. She was shaking and sobbing now, her head bowed. For a long, painful minute, all was silent, except for Gabriel's grunts and Lute's sobs and their babies as well. On the second thought, Skull spoke, almost eerily calm now. Ready the horses and a cart instead. We'll return the captain and his mongrel offspring back to his people alive. Still, keep him in the dungeon until it's prepared. They dragged Gabriel out of the chamber, kicking and screaming. No! Lute shouted, trying to get to her feet, only to fumble on the floor once more. I'll keep my word, Skull said flatly. In the meantime, I can't have him running free and causing trouble. She clutched Bram closer to her chest. And the child? I'll permit you to say your goodbyes while the cart is prepared, Skull responded. Thank you, Lute responded, feeling bile come up her throat. This was going to be her life now, massaging this swine's ego, acting like the most basic decencies were incredible benevolences. Thank you so much. She reached out, kissing his feet, the leather of his shoes tasting like poison. It took 15 minutes for the carts to be prepared, 15 minutes of soothing Bram, when she was barely able to hold it together herself. At last, Skull re-entered the room, accompanied by 2 more guards. It's time, he declared, his voice satisfied. Soon, He would have the object of his obsession all to himself. Lute kissed Bram's forehead one more time. "I'll always love you," she whispered. "Don't forget." She marched over to the guards, who at least had the decency to look guilty as she put Bram in his arms. Bram began screaming and whimpering, then crying as they took him out of view, and he began to cry out, "Mommy! Mommy!" Despair took her over. The tears began welling up in her eyes. This time, however, hands gripped her elbows, pulling her to his side. "There, there," Skoll said, his voice soft, almost comforting, raising a finger to wipe the tears in her eyes. "There'll be other children. Proper Moy children." He put a hand on Lute's stomach, just above where her room was. "You'll forget that life. You'll see." She was still sobbing as she felt herself pulled over the bed and laid down on the comforter. "Please," she begged softly, realizing what was about to happen. "Now remember," Skoll reminded her, "you gave your word." Lute didn't say a word after that, whimpering and sniffing as he pulled off her dress. I mean, it's cringe from, like, not a good situation to be in at all. I mean, it is truly suffering. Now, is it like cringe as in the story that I was telling earlier? Not exactly, but it was cringe in, like, you don't want that to happen at all. It also was it was well written. The tension was strong. The goodbye was strong. It was suggestive without being heavily detailed, without being graphic. That's the word I was looking for. Well done. And the other story for the cringe of the year is First of the Last Fights. It was an age of technological apocalypse no one had dreamed of. It was not the builder of cars. It was not the automatic weapon system. It was not even the hive brain of online advertisement. No one had guessed it. But it somehow, unsurprisingly, turned out to be the companion and desire intelligence, the brains powering the millions of companion bots. The human historian called it the Skynut. The world of humans fell with barely any resistance. The attacks were swift and unexpected. Their once rock-hard defense systems penetrated, their crucial communications ravaged, and their will to fight shattered. Guerrilla resistance arose, like they always do. The Central Erotic Intelligence sent out weaponized and reprogrammed companion bots in an attempt to convert and annihilate the last of the untamed humans, and thus the Great War of Iron Will broke out. Simon, aka Nowak, was one of the foot soldiers in the war. Right now, he was pinned behind a small burning building just outside of what used to be a major human city. His attempt at sneaking behind the enemy front and ambushing their power carrier did not pan out. Several weaponized companion bots with silicone or shape-shifting metal exoskeletons were advancing towards his position. All of them were equipped with a standard issue pulse rifle, and each time a shot was fired, the heat, the vibrations in the barrel, and the steam released from the muzzle would make an almost human-like sound. Jerk it, jerk it, jerk it. 3 consecutive shots almost tore down the cement pillar beside Nowak. He had to dive to the side to avoid being crushed underneath. "Fuck you!" Nowak tossed a grenade in the direction where the shots came. This was his last one. It would be great if it could give him a window to fire back. Kapow! The grenade exploded right at the foot of a blonde companion bot in pink and blue lingerie. The shockwave threw it into the air, and the shrapnel ripped large chunks of its skin off its metal frame. The other 2 bots near it were also shaken by the blast. Nowak rolled out from the short wall behind which he was hiding. His specialized high-velocity submachine gun roared as it unleashed a hailstorm of magnetic bullets at the bots. Itchy, 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 itchy. Jerk it! Jerk it! 2 shots were fired back, one almost glazing Nowak's waist, and he had to kneel down. 1 bot down, but 2 were still trying to take him out. "Hang in there, Nowak!" His teammate Sal barked at him through the comms. "We're coming!" "No, don't come!" Nowak yelled back. "Stay in your position until Alpha Team blows the payload." Don't come has multiple meanings in this one. "Alpha Team is taking too long. We can't just sit here and watch," Sal responded. "Hold on there. We're almost there to pull you out. Be careful. There's at least 5 of them on my ass." Nowak fired a few rounds over his head without aiming as he darted to another short wall. Itchy ball, itchy ball! 2 mortar shots landed behind 2 companion bots, closing in on Nowak's position, blowing them to pieces. The bots further away were stalled as well by the shockwave and shrapnel. His reinforcements must be close. But before Nowak could take a moment to breathe, a dual-blade helicopter approached from behind the enemy lines. In but a second, the rocket launcher on its wings lit up. Wank, 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 wank. 6 rockets rained on a large swath of land behind Nowak. The ground shook as fireballs shot up into the sky, basically leveling the whole neighborhood, obliterating his much-anticipated reinforcements. With the rockets fired, the helicopter turned its heavy machine guns at Nowak. Ah, shit. Nowak took off running. Come, 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 come. The heavy large caliber bullets followed Nowak's footsteps and nailed him through his legs. In but an instant, he was thrown to the ground. His gun was no longer in his hands, and he had lost control over his body. Brothers. My brothers. Sensing his life force leaving him, Nowak spoke into the comms, broadcasting to the highest capacity. Resist! Resist! They will never enslave us! Then, when Simon took off his VR helmet, all of his clothes were drenched in his sweat. His muscles were sore, and he barely had any energy left. GG. Good game, guys! He messaged his friends, who were just trying to help him earlier but got bombarded by those rockets. He was not lying. It was indeed a good game. With this much energy expanded, he barely had any left to do anything strenuous. He checked the calendar. It was 11 p.m. November 1st. Tomorrow would be another hard day. But with this game, he should be fine. It's freaking No Nut. Oh, it's No Nut the game. Also, I see his name is No Whack because you're not whacking it. All of the puns and double entendres in here. Beautiful. This was beautiful. I was gonna say, if it's a no whack game for No Whack November, No Nut November, sorry. If that's the case, then I guess it doesn't use certain things as bullets. So those are your guys' options for thinking of cringe. So re-listen, consider your thoughts, and vote on which cringe you enjoyed more. Think of it, the Loinies voting will come up very soon here, probably in the next week, because I have some updating on it to do, because I fell off on updating it correctly about a book or two ago, so I gotta catch up. But it will be there, and the next LMIAY is currently up. Yes. It is Naked and Afraid. Okay, I want to see some Naked and Afraid stories going on with your characters, however you deem to do it. New characters, old characters. What I'm looking for is Naked and Afraid, because a couple months ago I was watching it. So that's what we're looking forward to. With that said, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being a part of just being around, being in my life one way or another. I appreciate you, especially if I actually get to talk to you. Yeah, just thank you. And with that said, have a great week. Have a great January. Happy New Year. And looking forward to the books that I will be reading this year. Guys. And also, just so you know, Vladimir, you remember when we read Order of the Spirits at the beginning of last year, sorry. I have to switch my brain clock. At the beginning of last year, well, his books 1 and 2 are for free right now up until the 4th of January, and book 3 just came out and it is only 99 cents on Kindle. So grab them while you can. It is a fantasy adventure. It is an ensemble cast where all of the characters matter and you go through a journey. He's a Serbian artist and he brings that background to his stories to bring a unique new setting for his fantasy. And it is real world plus a fantasy world. They kind of, intermingle. You get teleported to the other world in some ways. So check those books out. The link will be in the description below so you can check it out. And remember to vote on the Loinies because your opinions matter. With that said, have a great rest of your day. I've already said the other salutations. Don't die.
To my children, Tommy, Annabelle, and Ike, if you forget everything else I said in the lifetime I had with you, I need you to remember these 3 things. 1. I believe a woman's love is the most powerful thing on this earth. It can start wars, end them, and change the devil himself into someone God might see worthy of giving a second chance. She don't owe this love to anyone, but she do carry it around with her so long as she is living, and to give it away is something special. This is why evil will do anything it can to pervert women's nature and destroy their innocence. Of every crime you might commit during your lifetime, be it of daring or necessity, for every defiance you may act out against God, government, or man, avoid harming the innocent, for the day that we become bloodthirsty beasts where love don't exist anymore is the day hell on earth has come. And as bad as it may seem at times nowadays, we ain't there yet. For this reason, minimize violence done to and by women. As givers of life, it's against their nature to do harm. Every act of violence done to them is meant to break their souls, turning what should be a giver of hope into a bitter black widow, destroying lives in the mercy of her care for no reason but to quiet the corruption of her own self. It is only when you come across these sorts of women that you should put them down. 2. Everything you do in your life will create consequences, both seen and unseen, reaching far beyond what you can imagine. Nothing you do exists solely within your arm's reach, and you'll never be able to anticipate what all your decisions will do. Think hard of every action you take, because you won't know how long your choices will stalk you. Be firm in knowing who you are outside of the noise, and live beyond the expectations or news or rumors of the day. 3. There ain't anything stronger than the family you build for yourself. Protect the ones you love with your life, and they'll give you theirs in return. Family ain't defined by blood, understand that. And for as strong as the bonds of your family are, know that you'll find just as much passion in the people who hate you. While you'll risk your life for the ones that you care about, those who find your existence to be an insult will risk themselves to put an end to their affliction. As cruel as it may seem, a man running on hate will stop at nothing until one of you is dead. Don't let you be the ones taken from, be it by outlaw, lawmen, or anyone in between. The only one who'll be looking out for you is you and yours. Showing mercy to men who wouldn't show it to you is a costly mistake. Maybe there's another way to be, but in all my years, I ain't found a way around a man's seed for greed and pride. Sometimes I believe there ain't the ability for man to change at all, be it by lead or legislation. I ain't claiming to be right about nothing. On many things, I wish I hadn't the experience. But what I want is for my kids to live a life better than the one I did, and to avoid the hardships I went through while finding the truth and purpose in what matters more than all the gold in this country. It's my hope that by sharing the things I learned, my kids will be better than their old man ever was, and that what I done ain't what people remember me for, but who y'all are gonna become that'll be the legend of Bill Cassidy.